Hi, today in this video we are going to look at accounts payable invoice entry, but with the help of using the distribution sets. How do they work? How do they help you in your day-to-day work? How do they help you speed up your work and avoid mistakes? So let's get started. I'm logged into Sage 300 2024 desktop version. I have the sample company in front of me. I'm gonna navigate to accounts payable, and here in the AP setup we have an option which says distribution sets. We have seen the option of using distribution codes in our previous example. Now in the distribution set, what happens? Let's say I want to create a distribution set for my communication expenses. So let's say I'm going to call it communication expense in the description. And here I want to distribute the amounts manually when I'm entering the invoices. And here either you can select the distribution code if you have already created distribution codes for different communication expense. For example, I have got different distribution codes here for internet, mobile and telephone expenses, or you could even select the general ledger account directly. So let's say I remember the ledger code here, so I'm just going to type it. This is 66030. If you don't remember, you can use the finder button and search it by description. So let's say the first one is telephone expense, so I'm going to call it telephone and fax expenses. Then I want to insert a line. I can directly press the insert key on the keyboard. In some cases, we have seen customers using Mac or some keyboards where the insert key is not directly available. Then you can simply go to your Windows and just type the on-screen keyboard option, and then from there you will find the insert key button. So that might help you. Going back to our example, so the next line I'll say that this one is related to internet expense, and I have 66040, and the last one I have the mobile phone expenses. So here that is 66050. I have selected 3 line items. I'm going to add this and save my distribution set. Now when I'm recording a transaction under AP, so I go to AP transactions, invoice batch list or invoice entry, whichever way you find it convenient. Under the invoice entry option, I'm going to use the plus sign to add a new transaction. Let's say I'm going to record an invoice with distribution set. This is only an example, so I'm using this kind of description. You can actually put the correct description there. So let's say for the entry, I'm going to call it communication expenses. And my supplier, I don't have a supplier, so if you don't have it, there's no problem. You can quickly add a new supplier from here. So I'm going to use this plus sign here, which will take me to creation of a new supplier. So I'm going to call it ETI001, that is Etisalat for me. And the group code I'm using, I have a group code created by currency, so I'm dealing in AED currency here. I can enter all the information which should be entered generally, but in this example I'm focusing more on the invoice with distribution set, so I'm going to save the supplier and move on. And I'm recording an invoice. Let's say the invoice number is 456-789. The total of the invoice is 1050. And here there is an example. So generally what would happen is I would select different GL accounts, but in this case I will simply select the distribution set and all the accounts will appear here automatically. So this helps in speeding up my work and avoiding data entry mistakes. Basically speeding up because you don't have to then literally go and find each GL account. Everything appears here and I can simply enter the amount. So let's say I'm spending 200, 500 and 300. So total of 1000. Tax, if you add the tax, then it becomes 1050. I'm using 5% VAT here, and the document total is 1050. So the system has validated that there is no undistributed amount. That means the total of my lines is matching with my document total. So then you can validate the tax amounts, terms, if you have to, optional fields. If they are mandated, then you need to select those. Check the totals tab. If everything is looking fine, add your transaction. Once it is added, let's say I do not have more entries to be done, I'm going to post this transaction here. When you see the message that GL transaction creation completed, that means the GL entry was created successfully. Since my posting is set to manual right now, so I'm going to GL transactions batch list. I'll see my transaction entered here. I can open it, validate it if required. So I can see that accounts payable is getting a credit of 1050. and all the expenses which were selected during the transaction getting a debit, and VAT on purchases is getting a debit. Everything looks fine. I'm going to post this transaction using the post button. When you see the message posting sequence completed, the transaction has been posted successfully. That's it. Hope you liked the video. Subscribe to the channel for more interesting videos. Thank you and have a nice day.